Two nations, two cultures, one brutal truth, only the prepared survive. On one side, the United States, armed to the teeth, spread across a fractured land with freedom baked into its bones. On the other, the United Kingdom, small, ancient, and quietly stockpiling behind curtains and closed doors. When the lights go out, when systems fail, when neighbors turn to threats, who lasts longer? The lone wolf American with a rifle and a ranch, or the resourceful Brit making do with less, surviving in silence? This is Prepper's Edge, and today it's war, and every square foot must serve a purpose. Discretion is key, as stockpiling supplies can raise eyebrows in a culture that values privacy. Across the pond, the American prepper faces a different set of challenges and opportunities. The vastness of the land offers both freedom and isolation. American preppers often adopt a more visible, even outspoken approach. Their preparations are bold testament to their belief in self-reliance and resilience. Two nations, two approaches. When the world ends, who will stand victorious? In the United Kingdom, where space is often at a premium, bugging in presents a unique set of challenges. The average British home doesn't exactly lend itself to storing a year's worth of supplies, yet British preppers have become masters of efficiency, transforming their homes into discreet survival hubs. Under-stair cupboards become mini pantries, stocked with tinned goods, dried pasta, and long-life milk. Garden sheds are transformed into discreet storage units for water barrels, camping gear, and other essentials. Lofts house everything from extra blankets and warm clothing to tools and first aid supplies. The key is to blend in to avoid attracting attention or raising concerns from neighbours. British preppers often refer to their stockpiles as emergency supplies, a subtle way of normalising their preparations. But when bugging out, the unpredictable British weather can turn a simple journey into a perilous adventure. Across the pond, American preppers face their own set of challenges, from navigating dense forests to avoiding dangerous wildlife. Whether it's the relentless rain of the UK or the wild terrains of the USA, preppers must be ready for anything. The art of stealthy stockpiling and the readiness to face nature's fury unite preppers on both sides of the Atlantic. When it comes to energy, the differences between British and American preppers are striking. In the UK, the focus is on low-key, sustainable solutions. Solar lanterns and wind-up radios are popular choices. Preppers invest in heavy-duty extension cords to run essential appliances from a neighbour's generator. The emphasis is on conservation. In contrast, American preppers often view backup power as essential. Generators are ubiquitous but come with risks. Solar panels coupled with battery banks are becoming popular, a safer bet for weather and wildlife threats. For the British prepper, the concept of bugging out is fraught with complexities and unexpected challenges. Unlike their American counterparts, who can envision disappearing into vast tracts of wilderness, British preppers are acutely aware of the limitations imposed by their island geography. Escape, if it becomes necessary, is more likely to involve a short hop to a relative's home in a less populated area or a discreet retreat to a pre-arranged safe house. Traffic congestion could easily turn a planned evacuation into a logistical nightmare, with every minute feeling like an eternity. Fuel shortages could render even the most carefully planned bug-out route impassable, leaving preppers stranded and vulnerable. In a country known for its sense of community, the idea of striking out on one's own can seem counterintuitive, yet sometimes necessary. Their bug-out plans often revolve around identifying temporary safe havens, but the unpredictable British weather can turn these sanctuaries into perilous traps. For both British and American preppers, the choice of a bug-out destination is a critical decision fraught with challenges and dangers. British preppers often focus on locations close to home, accessible by foot or bicycle, but must contend with unpredictable weather and treacherous terrain. They prioritize access to fresh water, natural shelter, and foraging, while being wary of wildlife threats. American preppers consider political climate, population density, and like-minded communities, but must prepare for extreme weather events. They may relocate to rural areas with a tradition of self-sufficiency, always on the lookout for dangerous wildlife. The spectre of nuclear war loomed large over the Cold War, casting a long shadow even across the Atlantic to the shores of Britain. While the United States embarked on an ambitious program of public fallout shelter construction, the UK adopted a different approach, one born of necessity and tempered by experience. Scarred by the aerial bombardments of World War II, The British government understood the limitations of physical shelters in the face of a determined and technologically advanced enemy. The official policy, known as Protect and Survive, focused on educating the public on how to best protect themselves within their homes using whatever materials were available. This pragmatic, if somewhat fatalistic approach stemmed from the belief that in a full-scale nuclear attack, survival would be a matter of luck as much as preparedness. Public fallout shelters, while not entirely absent, were primarily designated for essential personnel and government officials, a stark contrast to the widespread network of shelters found in the United States. This difference in approach reflected not only the differing strategic realities faced by the two nations, but also a fundamental difference in national psyche. The British, having endured the horrors of the Blitz, had developed a stoic acceptance of the possibility of mass casualties, a grim determination to keep calm and carry on in the face of adversity. In the United Kingdom, the end of the Cold War did little to diminish the looming spectre of nuclear war in the minds of many. The proliferation of nuclear weapons to rogue states and terrorist organizations has heightened anxieties about a potential nuclear attack on British soil. The government has largely abandoned the Protect and Survive ethos, deeming it outdated and ineffective against modern threats. Public fallout shelters have been decommissioned or repurposed, leaving the British public with little official guidance or infrastructure. This lack of preparedness has led to a resurgence of interest in private shelters among a small but growing segment of the population. Companies specializing in high-end bunkers have reported a surge in inquiries and sales, driven by global instability and economic uncertainty. This renewed interest in shelters is tempered by the realities of life in a densely populated island nation where space is at a premium. The British bunker market is characterized by discretion and ingenuity, with companies offering covert basement conversions and underground shipping container shelters. The stakes are high, and the need for preparedness has never been more pressing. Whether in the UK or the US, the quest for safety and survival drives innovation and determination in the face of an uncertain future. The British approach to prepping is often characterized by a quiet pragmatism, a sense of stoicism ingrained over centuries of navigating a tumultuous world. This keep calm and carry on mentality, forged in the crucible of World War II and tempered by decades of economic hardship and political uncertainty, manifests itself in a subtle approach to preparedness, one that values discretion and community spirit over outward displays of self-sufficiency. British preppers are less likely to advertise their preparations, often keeping their stockpiles and plans private even from close friends and neighbours. This reticence stems partly from a cultural aversion to ostentation and a desire to avoid being perceived as alarmist or paranoid. In a society that values conformity and social cohesion, standing out from the crowd can be met with suspicion or even ridicule. Moreover, British preppers are acutely aware of the potential for social unrest in a crisis situation and recognise that drawing attention to one's preparations could make one a target for theft or violence. This emphasis on discretion, however, should not be mistaken for a lack of seriousness or commitment. British preppers are no less dedicated to their preparations than their American counterparts, but their approach reflects a different set of cultural norms and practical considerations. They understand that in a densely populated country with limited resources, survival will depend on cooperation and community support as much as individual self-reliance. They're more likely to focus on building networks of trust with neighbours and local communities, sharing knowledge and resources in a spirit of mutual aid. When bugging out, both British and American preppers must contend with the unpredictable forces of nature. From the fierce storms that lash the British Isles to the tornadoes that tear through the American heartland, and the ever-present threat of wildlife, from cunning foxes in the UK to formidable bears in the USA, preppers must be ready for anything. The weather and wildlife add another layer of complexity to their meticulous plans, making the need for preparedness all the more urgent and intense. Despite differences in style, British and American preppers share a belief in practicality and self-reliance. Both groups recognize that in a crisis, traditional support systems may be overwhelmed, requiring self-reliance. This focus on practicality includes essential skills like first aid, fire starting, water purification, and food preservation. British preppers, often with limited space, prioritize multi-purpose gear and adaptable skills. They learn to improvise solutions on the fly. American preppers with more resources invest in specialized gear and training. The principle remains the same: to be prepared for various threats with the necessary knowledge and skills. This commitment to practicality and self-reliance transcends national boundaries, highlighting the universality of the prepper ethos. Perhaps no other aspect of prepping highlights the stark contrast between the UK and the US more than the issue of weapons. The UK, with its long history of strict gun control, stands in stark opposition to the US, where the right to bear arms is enshrined in the Constitution. This difference in attitudes towards firearms impacts how preppers in each country approach self-defense and security. In the UK, the ownership of handguns is strictly prohibited for most civilians, and the acquisition of other firearms, such as shotguns and rifles, is subject to stringent licensing requirements. The emphasis is on limiting access to firearms and ensuring proper training and vetting. This reflects a belief that a society with fewer guns is inherently safer. British preppers focus on home defense, situational awareness, and de-escalation techniques. They invest in sturdy locks, door reinforcements, personal alarms, and self-defense training, prioritizing the security of their homes and the safety of their families without resorting to lethal force. The emphasis is on prevention, avoidance, and deterrence, but when bugging out, both British and American preppers face the unpredictable forces of nature. Navigating through these challenges requires a different set of skills and preparations. In times of national emergency, both the UK and the US governments can enact measures that curtail civil liberties and grant authorities sweeping control over resources and movement. These powers, while designed to ensure public safety, can hinder preppers' access to supplies, communication, and freedom of movement. In the UK, the Civil Contingencies Act of 2004 allows the government to declare a state of emergency, restricting movement and requisitioning property. In the US, FEMA coordinates disaster response under the Stafford Act, which grants extensive authority to manage relief efforts. FEMA can establish curfews, restrict access to disaster zones, and requisition resources, raising concerns among preppers about government overreach. Preppers must also contend with severe weather and wildlife, adding complexity to their survival strategies. Step into the world of a British prepper, and you'll find a testament to resourcefulness and adaptability. In a land where every inch of space counts, efficiency is not just a choice, it's a necessity. Limited space and a culture of practicality shape their gear choices, favoring multi-purpose tools and a focus on essential supplies. Every item has a purpose and often multiple uses. Food storage often involves maximizing shelf life with methods like jarred preserves, pickled vegetables, and dried goods. These methods ensure sustenance through the harshest of winters. Tinned fish, beans, and soups line pantry shelves, offering protein and essential nutrients in compact, long-lasting forms. These are the lifelines in times of crisis. Water filtration systems, such as the iconic Sawyer filters, are prized possessions, enabling access to clean drinking water even if tap sources become compromised. In both the UK and the USA, clean water is a non-negotiable. Space-saving cooking solutions take center stage. Compact camping stoves, powered by readily available butane canisters, provide a means to heat meals and boil water without the need for bulky appliances. These stoves are the unsung heroes, ensuring a hot meal in the most challenging conditions. Solar lanterns and wind-up radios offer sustainable light and information sources, minimizing reliance on batteries or external power. In the wilderness, these tools can be the difference between life and death. First aid kits are meticulously assembled, containing not just bandages and antiseptics, but also a carefully curated selection of over-the-counter medications to address common ailments. Preparedness means anticipating every possible scenario. The British preppers' gear reflects their understanding of their environment and the potential challenges they may face. From urban jungles to rural landscapes, they are ready. Warm clothing, waterproof outerwear, and sturdy footwear are essential for navigating a damp climate and potentially challenging terrain. In the UK, the weather can turn treacherous in an instant. Multi-tools, with their array of blades, screwdrivers, and pliers become indispensable companions, enabling repairs, improvisations, and a sense of self-sufficiency. In the wild, these tools are your best friends. Maps, compasses, and knowledge of local geography empower movement and navigation, even in the absence of GPS or mobile networks. Whether in the dense forests of the USA or the rolling hills of the UK, knowing your terrain is crucial. In the UK, preppers must contend with relentless rain and wind, which can turn a simple journey into a perilous expedition. Despite the differences, preppers on both sides of the Atlantic share a common goal: survival. Their strategies may vary, but their resolve is unwavering. The differences in gear and supplies between British and American preppers extend beyond individual choices, reflecting the distinct markets catering to their respective needs. In the UK, the prepping market, while growing, remains relatively niche. Preppers here must contend with the unpredictable British weather, from torrential rains to biting cold. Specialized online retailers offer a curated selection of essential gear often imported from the US or Europe. This gear must be robust enough to withstand the UK's notorious dampness and chill. Local shops provide some prepping-related items, albeit often at a premium due to smaller demand. Wildlife like foxes, badgers, and wild boars can pose unexpected threats. The American prepping market is a multi-billion-dollar industry fueled by a tradition of self-reliance and a fascination with survivalism. Preppers here must be ready for extreme weather, scorching heat, hurricanes, and blizzards. Massive online retailers and brick-and-mortar stores offer an overwhelming array of gear and supplies, from practical to tactical. Wildlife dangers include bears, mountain lions, and venomous snakes. This difference in market size reflects the larger prepper population in the US and the greater cultural acceptance of prepping. The American prepper must be ready for anything, from natural disasters to wildlife encounters. In contrast to the understated nature of British prepper networks, the American prepper community is a vibrant and multifaceted tapestry, reflecting the nation's diverse cultural landscape and its embrace of individualism. From coast to coast, preppers gather at large-scale expos, attend survival skills workshops, and participate in online forums, sharing knowledge, comparing gear, and forging bonds based on a shared commitment to self-reliance and preparedness. Prepper expos, often held in convention centers and fairgrounds, draw thousands of attendees, offering a dizzying array of survival gear, information booths hosted by prepping experts, and demonstrations of everything from fire starting to tactical medicine. These events provide a snapshot of the American prepper movement, showcasing its entrepreneurial spirit, its fascination with technology, and its sometimes contradictory mix of individualism and community spirit. Beyond these large gatherings, the American prepper community is further fragmented into smaller subgroups, often organized around specific interests, ideologies, or geographical locations. Mutual assistance groups, often formed by neighbors or members of a local community, provide a framework for pooling resources, coordinating preparedness efforts, and offering support in a crisis. Online forums and social media groups, dedicated to specific prepping niches such as gardening, homesteading, or off-grid living, offer platforms for sharing knowledge, exchanging ideas, and connecting with like-minded individuals across geographical boundaries. In the UK, preppers must contend with unpredictable weather, from sudden downpours to chilling winds, and the challenges of navigating dense forests and dealing with wildlife like foxes and badgers. Meanwhile, in the USA, preppers face extreme weather conditions, from scorching heat waves to freezing blizzards, and the ever-present danger of wildlife encounters, including bears, snakes, and more. Both nations' preppers are united by their determination to prepare for the worst, sharing strategies and experiences to survive whatever comes their way. Despite the growing interconnectedness of the global prepper community, significant differences in approach and philosophy persist, often reflecting the unique cultural, historical, and geographical contexts of individual preppers. British preppers, shaped by a culture of pragmatism and a history of navigating scarcity, often prioritize efficiency, discretion, and community resilience. American preppers, influenced by a frontier spirit of self-reliance and a cultural emphasis on individualism, often embrace a more visible and technology-driven approach to preparedness. These differences are evident in everything from gear choices and prepping strategies to the way preppers interact with each other and view the role of government in a crisis. These environmental challenges further shape the unique strategies and tools employed by preppers on both sides of the pond. At its core, Prepping is not about succumbing to fear or embracing a dystopian worldview. It is about taking practical steps to mitigate risks, enhance resilience, and create a sense of agency in a world often characterized by uncertainty. Whether it's the fierce hurricanes of the USA or the relentless storms of the UK, prepping is about acknowledging potential disruptions and confronting them with preparedness. It is about empowering oneself with the knowledge, skills, and resources to thrive in the face of adversity. Prepping, in its truest sense, is an act of hope. It is a testament to the enduring human spirit, our capacity for ingenuity, adaptability, and resilience. Prepping is about transforming fear into action, uncertainty into preparedness, and vulnerability into resilience. Two nations, one prepping question: who's more ready when the world goes sideways, the Brits or the Yanks? America has the land, the gear, the freedom to go big. From bug-out bunkers to armed defense, their prepping is bold, visible, and often decades ahead. But Britain preps with precision, quietly, legally, creatively. In a land of restrictions, British preppers adapt and survive with what they've got. So who wins? In sheer resources, the US takes it. But in adaptability under pressure, the UK earns its place. Different tools, same goal. And in the end, the winner is anyone who's ready. Thanks for watching Prepper's Edge. Whether you're in a British flat with a wind-up radio and a stash of baked beans, or deep in the American backwoods with a solar array and a bug-out bunker, one thing's clear: you're thinking ahead, and that puts you miles ahead of the crowd. This video was about more than just comparing gear or laws. It was about mindset, the quiet resilience of the UK, the bold readiness of the US. Both show us that prepping isn't just cultural, it's universal. If you learned something, if you saw yourself in either side of this story, or if you've just been inspired to level up your own plans, hit that like button, subscribe, and join the Prepper's Edge tribe. We've got a lot more to come. Deep dives, how-tos, and real talk for real scenarios. Until next time, stay alert, stay adaptable, and as always, stay ready.